Hi, I'm Becky.
Hey, I'm Lee, and we're the co-founders of Wild Forager Society.
And we're going to show you how to forage for some wild edibles.
Like that, like that, like that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Here, let me help you. Welcome! I'm so glad everybody made it to the Wild Foraging Society meeting. The Wild Forager Society is a group that Rebecca Lamb and I co-founded in April of 2013. We primarily talk about education about plants, and we harvest some edibles in our neighborhoods, and anyone can join. We have a website and we have a Facebook page, and all you have to do to become a member is show up to a monthly meeting.
Can anyone identify the mulberry tree?
Right here!
Right here! It's really easy to identify a mulberry tree in your neighborhood. The first step is usually checking out the ground. It's basically going to be littered with blue or red or purple spots because lots of ripe berries are going to be falling. Next indicator is looking up. Inside the tree you'll see a dark green top glossy leaf, and just behind it sometimes you'll have to move the branch to expose several different berries beneath. You'll often see 3 types of berries on a mulberry tree. Some that are just newly formed, and so they're more green or white. They're very hard and they're not ripe yet. These are definitely the mulberries that you don't want to be eating at this time. They still have certain levels of toxicity in them that can make you really, really sick. The next ones you're going to see look more pink or red, kind of like a raspberry, but they're not quite ready yet either. We're still ripening. The mulberries that you want to eat from the tree are going to be deep, deep purple, almost black looking, closer to this one. A really easy way to tell too if a mulberry is ripe is once you see a black one, you can reach up, give it a simple tug, and it comes down right away. And right into your mouth.
Whoa! What? Oh my gosh! Can we do that again? One thing about foraging is that you get the freshest meal that you could ever have, because I pick right from the ground and into my mouth. This is a food that's come right from the farmers' fields of your neighborhood, and you get to be sort of the lazy farmer of just picking up what's growing and already available.
I have purple mulberry feet. I think my roommate and I are going to go back and make some sangria and maybe bake some mulberry pancakes. I think it'd be really good in pancakes.
We found some wild sorrel by the side of the road. It's got a nice lemony kick to it, so we're picking it and we're gonna add it to our sangria later.
Not bad.
I love the idea of food being all over the city right at our fingertips and we don't even know. It's pretty fantastic to be able to make a salad essentially for free, and it feels so great when you know it's local and real and everything as well, right?
A lot of folks wonder, how do they know what's edible and what's poisonous potentially or inedible? And there's a lot of great resources that can help you out. Field guides are a great place to start. If you're a beginner, it's also great to start by asking around in your social circle for folks who might have some experience eating edible plants. We recommend that people have a really great idea of what plant it is that before they're actually consuming it. So delicious.
There are tons of amazing places that you can forage in the city. Right now we're checking out one of our local ravine systems.
Right now it's raspberry season, and we've just found some red raspberries. I wanted to take a look because this is a really dense bush that's growing in the understory of our forest, and often the raspberries are much smaller than you might find in your grocery store. So one thing that can help you identify the places to be looking are some of the sharp little brambles or thorns on the sides of the branches. And then as soon as they flower, I start to come back every few days and monitor till I see the juicy berries. You want to make sure that you're foraging the right plant at the right season. Somebody once explained to me that I found to be a helpful tool to think about where the plant is putting its energy, because at any given moment the plant is growing and putting its energy towards the most delicious part. So in the early spring you would be looking at leafy greens and small vegetables. And then as we transition into this time, we're seeing a lot of flowers. There's a lot of edible flowers. And then as the flowers start to mature, the plant's starting to put its energy into fruits and seeds. And that's what we're going to round out the fall with. When the first frost comes, then it's a great time to also harvest the roots, because the leaves will have had all their sugars go back down into the ground to survive for winter.
Right now, wild carrot, or Queen Anne's lace, is in bloom all over the city. So you can identify this plant by the bright white umbel of flowers that it produces at the top. So another way to help identify wild carrot or Queen Anne's lace is to look in the middle of the white flowers to see if you see a tiny, tiny purple or a black flower right in the middle. That helps you to distinguish wild carrot between a very poisonous lookalike called water hemlock. This wild carrot isn't quite ready to eat the root yet, as traditionally you would eat a carrot. That's more of the fall. But now you can enjoy the blossoms and come back once they have turned into seeds. Those seeds you can dry and utilize as a substitute for caraway in lots of conventional recipes.
This is staghorn sumac here, one of our delicious native berries. These are just about ripe. When they turn fully red, you can make a really delicious drink with them, known to a lot of folks as sumacade, which is a really tart sort of lemonade drink. You can ice it and drink it all summer. It's really refreshing.
So here we have an incredibly popular plant called garlic mustard. Garlic mustard is actually an invasive species. So this means when you're foraging, you can take as much as you like. So eating garlic mustard, which tastes about how it sounds, a mustardy, kind of on the nose, and a little bit of garlic flavor. So think about making pesto or putting it in a stir fry. And garlic mustard is so simple to forage, you can pick it and add it straight into a salad. When you're harvesting the garlic mustard, try to look for leaves that are smaller. You want the younger plant so that it's less bitter and more delicious.
Here I see some of stinging nettle, one of my favorite plants. This plant is a really delicious edible. You can use all season, but you really have to watch out for some of its tiny stinging hairs that it has all over the plant. So I always generally bring a pair of clippers or something like that where I can hold the plant, and then I cut it up and use it like spinach or make it into tea. It's one of the most delicious ones you can find.
So we've come across here one of my favorite wild edibles and most prevalent in the city, it's dandelion. So right now it looks like a bunch of leaves. And dandelion leaves are very edible, they're delicious and nutritious. The best time for you to be foraging dandelion leaves is the first thing in the spring. Try to get them before the plant goes to flower. That's when they're most delicious. And there you have it. You don't have to be an expert to know how to forage amazing, delicious wild food right here in the city.
Just remember, don't you put it in your mouth till you ask someone you love.